Shalom. First, I'm going to say Kal Loyum, La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name is Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son. His true name is Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Salutations and shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. All right. Shalom to the few Akwatim that believe as well. Hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered throughout the face of the earth, whether it be among the heathen, and even like the heathen, which are the speckled-bird Israelites, to the whole household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom. All right, back at you with another Lord willing edifying lesson. And I might entitle it Global News Update. I don't know. We'll see what the Spirit give me. But what's going on right now? The biggest thing in the news is tariffs. It's a main talking point in the mainstream news media, and even on the alternative outlets, as far as the alternative media. And we know that we're at the end of this kingdom, all right? And also, we know that there are a set amount of plagues or prophetic events that's going to take place, leading to the downfall of this kingdom, and we're just living it out. Okay. Each day go by, week, month. All right, we're just patiently watching. All right, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, destroy. All right, the kingdom of the wicked. Okay. And with that being said, I want to jump into this. I got a few things I want to touch on, and to show you what's going on around the world globally. Of course, the tariffs. All right, we know that Donald Trump has placed tariffs on many of his allies. All right, the EU, NATO, what have you. And, even, China. All right, they got tariffs on China. All right, and other countries, And what's going on is the world stock markets, all right, are in disarray, So pretty much it's order out of chaos or order ab chaos. Let me see if I can find that. Order ab chaos, which is order out of chaos. When you go here to order ab chaos, here we go. So from Google, all right, even AI got it right. It says ordo ab chaos is a Latin phrase meaning order out of chaos. And this is exactly what's going on. Okay. It says order from chaos. It's often used as a motto or symbol, particularly with the context of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, representing the creation of order from a state of disorder, which that's exactly what's going on. Okay. You see a lot of chaos going on right now, and all it's going to do is usher in, all right, so-called order from the elites, which their whole plan is to crash the system and to bring it back up online, all right, using the MOTB, all right, to put everyone back on the grid as far as financial payments, identification, so on and so forth. Okay, and that's really what's going on. All right, this is why Trump said that the U.S., which is Babylon, had to be the front and center of AI, because that chip technology and AI, artificial intelligence goes hand in hand. Okay, 5G, all that, right? Bear me 1 second. Shalaki, I'm back. So, as I was saying, the MOTB, which is a prophecy that must come to pass, all right, before the destruction comes, because it's going to be a time of testing for the whole world. Okay, when you go here to the book of Revelation, the 3rd chapter, and the 10th verse. All right, I'm gonna read the NLT. It says, Revelation 3:10 on the NLT. It says, "Because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world." Right. And so it's going to be a great time of testing, especially to us Israelites, man. All right. And this is in red, so Yahweh Shai is speaking, man. All right. So we're going to see a great time of testing. All right. Which, on the KJV it says the hour of temptation, right? Which is when they make the MOTB mandatory. Okay. Because when you look at these tariffs, right? Excuse me. Tariffs are simply a tax. All right. A tax put upon goods or a country or a people. All right. Wherein, the price of things become increased. Okay. And then what happens? You have it where it trickles down to the commoners or the consumers. All right. And it affects the consumers the worst. Okay. Which are who? The taxpayers. Right. And also what it does is it separates, the rich and poor. All right. Further and further. All right. There's no middleman. There's no in between. The old middle class, that shit's done away with pretty much. And they're separating, all right, or putting that gulf between, rich and poor even more. Okay. So, don't be surprised if the system crash. It has a high potential to crash. Who knows this spring? Because we're in spring, right? Or beginning summer, middle summer, what have you. Okay. We know that the MOTB, which is prophesied in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, is going to come to pass. Okay. We're in, all right, let's read it. Revelation 13:16. "And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." See, we know the mark goes back to the Greek word charagma. All right. We know that the one that goes into the hand is out there. It's been out there for some time, right? I was watching the video earlier that was on my YouTube home screen, and it was like a video produced 5 years ago, wherein they was going in about the MOTB, right? And they were showing the video what capabilities it had. So don't lose sight of the MOTB, because that is prophecy. Verse 17, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." So we know it's going to come to a point where you're going to be presented with the MOTB, and you ain't going to be able to buy or sell, all right, unless you got that MOTB. All right, whether the one that goes into your hand or the one that goes into the forehead, which is the Neuralink, and there's other different types of one that goes in your head as well. All right. So these tariffs are just that, tariffs, taxation, which can cause inflation. Okay. And what you see is protests around the country and globally, because it's going to affect everyone that's involved. Right. Let's play this clip real quick. Fair use, fair use. All right. My video is not monetized. All right. Only educational purposes. All right. Primarily biblical educational purposes. So fair use, fair use. They should hate their king, man. Look at this. They should hate their king. All right. See, a lot of these Edomites, they voted for which their votes don't count anyway. I mean, anybody knows that has any common sense or any knowledge about the so-called election that comes around every 4 years, right? You got the popularity vote, you got the electoral votes. Popularity is the people. Who will be president if the people, all right, can decide? See, the whole thing of you choosing the president, that's not reality. See, the elites choose who's going to sit in that seat, that seat of the U.S. Oval Office, all right, which is you have the president, which proves, by the way, that this society is based off, Greece or the Greek Empire, and also the Roman Empire. All right, that's why they call it the Greco-Roman Empire, because they did the same thing, or they started the same thing. All right, during the time of the Greeks. Okay, and to prove that, I have a precept. Excuse me, because one thing about these Edomites is that they got the political arena, and you would think that it's different based on choosing the side, Democrat, Republican. All right, they got other parties as well now, libertarians and all that stuff. There's really no difference, man. Okay, there's really no difference. Okay, as it's written, they had what two. Let me get that real quick before I read this. Revelation 13. Okay. Revelation 13:11 says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Now we know that goes into the two-party system, all right, of the Edomites system, okay, which is the old Greco-Roman system, which I'm getting ready to read in the book of Maccabees, right? The two horns represents what? The Democrats, Republicans, all right. But you had the you look at ancient times, okay, you had the what? Let's see here. The plebeians. Oh, it's like it. Yeah, plebeians and patricians. All right. I don't need the meaning part. Shalakia. All right. It says plebeians and patricians, which is modern day Democrats and Republicans. All right, if you don't know. It says in ancient Rome, patricians were the wealthy upper class, while plebeians were the working class. All right. Now, you can associate the patricians with the Republicans today, and the plebeians will be the Democrats today. Okay. The divide was hereditary and based on social status. Okay. And the thing is about these two parties is that they both, all right, are in cahoots with each other. They're on the same side behind closed doors. Okay. This is why you notice the last 3-4 presidents, there haven't been a big difference or change in policy. They're bipartisan on everything. Okay, when you look into it, Trump is doing the same thing. The Democratic Party would do. All right, look at crazy Joe Biden. Is his administration that much different? No. Why? Because they work for the elites. Okay. Now it says it started in Rome, but you go here to Maccabees, This is during the time of the Greeks when they first came into power. Remember, because under Alexander, which is the goat, all right, the rough goat, that's or the leopard, which started with Greece. That's Alexander, all right, Alexander the Great, as they call him. See, First Maccabees 1:1, and it happened that after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. And this is the first time that Esau came to power right here, ruling as the Greeks, all right, under the name of the original Japhetic people, which they were the original Greeks. But Esau took on their nationality or name and ruled, all right, as the Greeks. Okay. And during this time of the Greeks, this is really where that two-party system originated. And how you're gonna, excuse me, how we're gonna prove that is gonna go to the scriptures. Okay, same book. All right, First Maccabees chapter 8, and here we go to verse 15. Okay, First Maccabees 8 and 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house wherein 320 men sat in council daily, which is what today is known as what? The House of Senate. All right, the Senate House, that's to the round. Okay. Let's see here. U.S. House of Senate. Oh. Okay. Well, you gotta go to members, Shalaki. All right. This is the U.S. House of Senate. And you look at it, right? This is the same way it was organized back during the time of the Greeks and Romans. Because when you look at the display of the House of Senate, right? The House of Senate, this is how it looks, right? Now you type in, let's see here. All right. Greek. Or ancient Greek, right? Check this out. It was made the same exact way. All right. That's like an older one. All right. Let's see. This would be more accurate, though. All right. This would be more accurate. Okay. Yes, that's pretty much the gist of it. I was trying to see this a better view, but you can kind of see. All right, I was trying to see if you could find a better view which showed the whole angle of it. Matter of fact, let's type this in. Only Greek, let's say Roman. Yeah, give you the same images, showing you there's no difference, right? Same people that ruled back then, the same people are here back or back again. Okay, all right. Yeah, I can't get a better picture, Shalakia, but if you can, you have to take time and search through it. All right, let's read though. First Maccabees 8 and 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting a way, always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered. Right, and this is what goes on when you see the Senate House. All right, you see votes or proposed legislation that go through the House, and they vote yay or nay for it to be, sign into law or to the Constitution, what have you. It's the same thing. Okay, it's the same exact thing. Verse 16, and that they committed their government to one man every year who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one man, to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. All right, and today that will be your president. Okay, which right now the current president of Babylon, which is America, is Donald J. Trump, which we believe that's Nero in the reincarnation. Okay, that's the one man that's been appointed the head of the government here in Babylon. Okay, and what's going on is you got protesters in the street, or even of their own people, that are protesting against his tariff measures. Because why? Tariffs are going to affect the lower class people more than anything. See? This is why they're protesting. Look at this.
We say no. We say no.
And these are the major cities around the U.S. They showed you New York. They showed you D.C. They're showing you Chicago, where there's millions of people living there. And these streets are flooded. Los Angeles, look at that. Streets are packed. Okay? And you Israelites out there,
They're under attack. What do we do? My women's rights are under attack. What do we do?
you Israelites out there, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American people, you ought to be paying attention to what's going on, man. You ought to be paying attention, man. Look at all this shit going on, man. You can't see we're at the end. You know? Let's look at a little more news that's going on, right? Look, Trump hikes China tariff to 125%. The decision comes shortly after Beijing retaliated against Washington's previous tariff rise, and this was a big thing in the news today. Today is the 9th. Okay, I think China hit back with like 84% tariff on the U.S. So it's a standoff. Okay, it's a standoff. Excuse me. The U.S. President Donald Trump has raised the tariffs on Chinese goods to 125% in response to retaliatory measures imposed by Beijing earlier on Wednesday. All right, this is what's going on, man. Yeah, it was 84%. Right. Even got tax on their EU and NATO alliance, right? Let's see here. Let's get this real quick. This is in the news as well. Because I seen the video. Now, I should have queued that video up. All right. The EU came out and made bold statements against the US. Okay. From juice to jewelry, this is from Reuters. All right, Reuters.com. This is a mainstream news media outlet online mainly. It says, from juice to jewelry, which U.S. goods will EU hit with tariffs? Because why? It's a retaliatory measure. All right. The European Union will launch, in which the EU, all right, the EU, which start off as the European Economic Community, which that goes into what? The tolls, right? That's spoken about in Daniel, the second chapter. All right, it speaks about what? Some was part iron, it was part iron and part miry clay. Talking about, the iron represents strong, and the miry clay, it represents the weak among the EU, all right, countries, right? When you had the strong ones, which was strong economically, right? And you had the weak ones that was weak economically, all right, which is strong kept the weak, all right, from basically what's the word I'm looking for? From basically they kept them from basically falling, okay? All right. And what you have is a lot of these strong EU countries. When I say strong, I mean financially strong, right? Economically. They're becoming weak. All right, because of what's supporting the beast, all right, system, which all these wars has been going on, right? Which is bankrupting their economies, all right, and basically giving their power over to the beast, like it's written, okay? Which those tolls goes to what? The 10 horns, okay? Which is modern day EU, okay? And you look at the ancient tolls, you had the 10 horns, right? Which that's the 10 toes goes to the 10 horns, the vassal states of Rome. Okay. You had the Sueves, Alemanes, Ostrogoths, Visigoths. You had the Sueves, Hureles, Lombardis, the Vandals. All right. And you had the Franks, and I'm missing one. I said the Alemanes. I said Ostrogoths and Visigoths. Anglo-Saxons. All right, the Anglo-Saxons. See, again, they're known as the EU today. And what's going on with these tariffs is it's causing them to hate the whore even more. See? Let's read a little bit. This is dated April 9th, today, right? The European Union will launch countermeasures from next Tuesday against U.S. President Donald Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs with extra duties on 20 billion euros, 23 billion of U.S. imports. All right, $23 billion of U.S. imports. Which the U.S. hardly exports anything. Says the 27-nation bloc faces 25% import tariffs on steel, aluminum, and cars, as well as the new broader tariffs on 20% for almost all other goods under Trump's policy to hit countries, he says, impose higher barriers to U.S. imports. Okay. And see, this is it's good for us that believe in Yahweh Shem Shai as far as us Israelites, but hey, for you Edomite countries that going to suffer behind that, all right, you're going to mourn, okay? And even the wicked of our people are going to mourn because their mind is in this society. They're not thinking about the kingdom. Okay, it says the first phase of European tariffs will cover 3.9 billion euros worth of U.S. products, including steel and aluminum, corn. It says maize, rice, motorcycles, motorboats, dishwashers, washing machines, and orange juice. Okay. So this is this is a strong uh retaliatory measure, okay, that's going to happen. Okay? Because why? Donald Trump, he imposed tariffs on them as well. So they had to retaliate, right? But again, this is going to lead to what? Them hating the whore. All right, Revelation 17 in verse I'll go down to verse I start at 12. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast," which I described or broke down those 10 names. All right, those 10 names going back to the old 10 vassal states of Rome. Okay, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Right, and you have some of these countries that are part of NATO as well, which NATO and the EU is the beast system. Okay, verse 14. "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful," which is the elect, and the angels as well, man. All right. Matter of fact, the angels are going to be assembled with Yahweh Shah when he come, because he's not coming back by himself. Okay, he's coming back in that angelic force. All right, with the innumerable amount of angels. Okay, in the chariots, man. That's going to bring destruction to the wicked. All right, and also salvation unto his elect. All right, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect of the nation of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that believe and do the Lord's will. And the elect is the servants of the Lord, man. Okay. Verse 15. Let me jump down to 16, Shalaki. Let's jump down to 16. Get to the point. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Right? Because, the things that the whore is doing, which is America, all right, the things that the whore is doing is causing great anger among its allies. All right, causing great contempt, all right, against their own allies, which is not a good look for them. It's a good look for us, because why? We can't wait till this whore go down. Okay. All right, Obadiah verse 7. "All the men of thy confederacy," right, the ones that are in agreement with you, "have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee," right, your allies, right, "and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him," right, because your own allies, all right, the ones that are in agreement with you, are going to come against you at the end of the day, Esau, including your own people, your own Edomite kind that is in control of these other EU countries and NATO countries, right? They want to come against you, man. They want to come against the great whore, which is America, man, and destroy it. See? That's what's coming. Everything Trump is doing is good, man, as far as for us, because it's causing this place to come down more and more. What you're watching is Babylon being destroyed from within. Okay? Let's go back here. Other things going on. Okay? This is an article, another article. It says, next pandemic could strike tomorrow. World Health Organization, right? That's what the word or acronym WHO stands for. Okay. Governments must invest in a response to global contagion. You should watch the movie Contagion, to global contagion. What's a contagion mean? I'm curious. Let's see. We go to the tab. Contagion. The communication of disease from one person to another by close contact. A disease, right? No, not that. A disease spread by close contact, right? Similar to contamination, infection, disease, illness, pestilence, right? Pestilence. A fatal epidemic disease, especially bubonic plague. Right. That's what 2020 was all about. It was likened into a bubonic plague with the, 2020 pandemic. Okay. That hit what globally it said, right? Where the article go? Governments must invest in a response to global contagion, the World Health Organization has suggested. Another deadly pandemic could emerge as soon as tomorrow. The World Health Organization, or the WHO as the acronym, has warned, calling on the countries of the world to prepare for it. Right? Now, how do you know that? How the fuck do you know that this could come as soon as tomorrow? Again, the heart is deep. All right, their heart is deep. They have accomplished a diligent search. See? How the fuck you know that outbreak can spread globally? You gotta question things, man. Most people got a mind to question. You gotta question these type of things. How the hell you know? And the key thing is why you ain't doing things to prevent it. You're supposed to be the top physicians in the world. Again, there are physicians of no value, all right, as written in the book of Job, the 13th chapter. They are all forgers of lies. There are physicians of no value. What value are you to the world, man? Excuse me. In a statement on Monday, the WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus urged governments to invest in health security and finalize the pandemic agreement and international treaty on pandemic prevention and response. And we've seen the type of lockdowns that happened during 2020, right? The global outbreak of the COVID-19, which began in late 2019, and that's true. That's true. I remember that. Everyone was getting sick late 2019. All right. And people didn't understand what was going on. Well, we know people was like, man, it's a bug in the air. You know how people talk. It says resulted in an estimated 20 million deaths worldwide and wiped more than $10 trillion from the global economy, according to the WHO. Right. That was a big blow to the economy as well, which the economy never recovered to this day. Okay, but it wiped out 20 million worldwide. As far as it killed 20 million people. A new similar contagion could happen in 20 years or more, or it could happen tomorrow. But it will happen. And either way, we must be ready. Ghebreyesus has said, describing it as an epidemiological certainty rather than a theoretical risk. So this is according to the World Health Organization. Okay, let's get some more precepts, man. Lord willing, you being edified. This is this is matter of fact, let's go here first. This is the beginning of sorrows that we're watching. Okay. Second Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. And we see it, right? We see what's going on. That's written in Second Ezra 9, uproars of the people, right? The signs are there. If you're not paying attention, you're not going to see it. Matter of fact, Slakia, I was wrong. If the Lord haven't opened up your eyes to see it, you ain't going to see it. All right. If Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai haven't opened your eyes, you ain't going to see it. Because while the Lord have poured upon you the deep sleep. Okay. The deep sleep. Let me see here. Let's get there real quick. Isaiah 29 and verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Right. Excuse me. What they're drunk with, these philosophies and vain ways of living that have been indoctrinated, that they have been indoctrinated with due to Esau's madness. Okay. Our people into everything except for the truth. It's only a few of us that's into the truth. Because why? The Lord has brought us to the truth or the light, which is this knowledge of the scriptures, and have given us an understanding. The rest of our people are blinded. That's why it says, what then? Israel have not attained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. All right, Romans 11 and 7. Right? Verse 10. For the Lord had, and this is all caps, for Yahweh had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. All right, you can't perceive or see what's going on through the spirit. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. See? You can't see what's going on because why? The Lord didn't want you to see what's going on. Yet you see that you're Israelites. All you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans out there, you see you're Israelites, but guess what? Your ass turn the other way to it. As far as the truth, the true gospel. That's you being judged. See? Light has come into the world. But what? They choose darkness rather than light. Because their deeds are surely evil, man. You know? Back in 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 37, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pangs compass her womb. Which pangs, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. And this is what's going on right now. Shit is happening. Boom. Left to right. Boom. Agriculture failing. Globally, by the way. Especially here in Babylon. Economy failing. Globally, right? Jobs failing. Your whole way of living failing. Okay? Verse 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And we're witnessing that. We're witnessing sorrows come upon the world, man. Okay? Why you think it says that the city shall be troubled, man. Look what's going on. You know? Look at that. Fauci says millions of pets, cat must be slaughtered, all right, to fight bird flu. Chuck praises violent attackers. Attacks against Tesla. Look at this. A whole division, right? Look, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen says Europe has the values of the Talmud. And the Talmud is a wicked satanic book. Has nothing to do with the Bible at all. In fact, it's the polar opposite. It's a wicked book. Okay? What else we got here? Yeah, look, the Democrats they want Nero head, man. Oh, I tell you. I mean, it's looking good for us that believe in Yahweh Hashem Shai. 2 Ezra 15. Let's go to verse 5. It says, Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right? That's what's coming to this world, man. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. See? The Lord's going to bring this. All right, what's the famine? Starving to death, right? Lack of food, right? What can bring death? The pestilence. And there's different pestilences out here that can plague the people, man. I just read an article about the World Health Organization saying a pandemic can happen tomorrow, right? And destruction, that's the ultimate plague, right? The nuclear destruction that's coming, right? The sword. And that's going to happen due to civil war. All right, civil war, race war, right? Troops kicking in your door, throwing you into a concentration camp, or just putting you to death on the spot because you won't worship the beast. Consent to the beast, right? This new world order, right? I mean, man. It says, 2 Ezra 15 and 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. See? They that till the ground shall mourn, right? For their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell and with a fearful consolation. And what you're watching is, as far as, those that sow seeds, right? Excuse me. Or those that till the ground, which are the farming industry been on attack. They've been being attacked for some years now. A lot of these private small farmers and farmers that have been in business for years, they've been bought out. All right. The rich own these farms in most cases. See? Verse 14, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draw it nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So yeah. This is what's coming, man. Anarchy. Chaos. And they're going to try to bring in order in the midst of this chaos, man. Again, ordo ab ko. Ordo ab ko. Order out of chaos, or order from chaos. Create a chaotic situation and then bring in the order, which is what? A so-called solution, which we know that NWO, and part of the NWO is to have everyone chipped, is on the agenda. See? Verse 16, for there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You're going to have a total government breakdown. They don't regard the authority, the government. They're going to take actions into their own hands. I mean, what? In their own power. It's what seemed best for them at that moment in time. Okay? This is what's coming to Babylon and to the world, man. So we ought to do as the scriptures say and be sober and be vigilant. Okay. So I think that's all I have for you. Let me see here. Yeah, I think that's all. That's it. Yeah, we live in some exciting times, man. Where the Lord is gonna, I think this could be our it can literally be our year of our salvation. Salvation, Lord willing. Okay. Let's see if there's anything new popped up, which is the same thing. I hate to watch the post. They don't let you. They don't let you log in like you want to. Put your email in, all that stupid shit. But anyways, hey, Lord, whether you've been edified, man. With that, all praises and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Madash. A shalom to the elect. Lord willing, I'll see you in the next video. A shalom, stay strong in the spirit. Stay prayed up. All right, with that, shalom.